Welcome back to the bungalow. I'm 5XVT and tonight we're going to make a spooky beat for Halloween. In preparation for this, I created a heartbeat sound and I wanted to use that as a kind of a bass line and something that would tie everything together as a rhythm element. So I did that in Serato Studio, which I'll show you in a second how I did it. And then I exported that out and then rebought it back into a new instance of Serato Studio, which I'll explain why a bit later. So this is what I did. I started off with just a heartbeat sound, which sounds something like this. And then I added on my favourite plugin at the moment, Lunacy Audio's Beam, and I used a preset called Coming Down the Pipe. And then, so listen to how this sounds. So you can tell it's mental. It's like super bassy, and I'm going to use this as a bass line element. And then on top of that, what I did in the song mode, I automated this Beam plugin to make the mix go from 100% wet, so all you can hear is the output of Beam, to 100% dry, so you just hear the heartbeat come through. And I automated that over 2 patterns, so it goes. So it basically goes down to just a heartbeat. The next thing I wanted to create was some choir sounds that aren't, that sound a bit dissonant, basically, to make it sound spooky and eerie. And I can't do that by just using, well, I personally couldn't do that, just using the normal minor scale. So what I did is I came into Ableton, and I changed the scale to whole tone rather than minor or major, which gives like this weird, eerie sound. So if I play a chord in this Meyer Choir, you can see how sort of eerie it sounds. So super spooky, yeah? Now the next thing I wanted to use on this beat was Lunacy Audio's Cube Mini, which was recently given away free as part of a competition to score a social media Halloween clip, which unfortunately I didn't have time to do. And it also came with an expansion pack called Phantom, which has got a load of spooky sounds in. And this is the sound that I'm going to use in the beat. It's kind of like a riser that I'm going to use at the start of every couple of bars or something like that. The sound is in Phantoms. It's called Soul Drop, and it sounds like this. So yeah, that's Soul Drop, the preset in Lunacy Audio's Cube. Now the last element, so I also wanted some sort of spooky sounds, and rather than go with like the cheesy werewolf sounds or, you know, Dracula or bats or something, I actually just got this video of my dog playing tug of war, and then I opened up Paul X Stretch, which is a free app, but it's a time stretch app. And I dragged in that audio file and then I highlighted it all. And then if I just turn this off a second, you'll hear what it sounds like. So. Okay, so that's that video. And if I turn on the time stretch. So you can see it sounds pretty evil for a little Frenchie, but yeah, I thought that was quite cool. So I exported that out, rendered it out up here, and I'm also going to drag that into the new project. Okay, so I'll open up a new instance of Serato Studio, and I'll just drag in those the files that we've just been listening to, the samples we made, the dog, the choir, and the soul drop sound from Cube Synth. So we've got these drums, kick, snare. We've got this crowd eerie sound that I found in a sample pack, which I thought could be quite interesting. I've got this break. Got the choir, which I've cut up into 16 slices, well, in fact 14 slices. I've got the dog sound, which was this. Which I've run through delay, just on the default preset. It's called Delude. And then I just stuck an EQ on, which is just takes out the lows. And then we add that sample called Soul Drop from Cube, which goes like this. Okay, so let's put a kick on, let's put the snares and the kick in to start off with. So kick on the 1, and the snares here, 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 here. Highlight them all, copy, paste, paste, paste. That's that. And then the break, and I also just chopped out this snare so I can use it on its own. So break we're going to put on here, on the 1, and on the 5. And then this sound, I'm going to use this as a snare, but not all the way through, maybe just on this step here. Have a listen on there. Yeah, I think that works. And then this soul drop thing just needs to go probably at the start. Yeah, and because it's such a long sustained note, it'll carry all the way through all of this. Right, so let's just add in a EQ on the break, and we'll just EQ out the lows. We'll add in a beam, my favourite plugin, as I said, and we'll put that on the break, and let's just solo the break so we can hear it on its own, and just go through a couple of presets. I think that might work, but just lower in the wet dry. So let's put it down to 9, work it in. Not too much. Yeah, that's cool, I think. And then just a side chain to that kick, the main kick. I think that kick might need a bit of an EQ. So I've already cut this, the choir up into chops. I'm just going to play along till we find a pattern that we want. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So 4 is like that. So I'm going to try and find one that sounds a bit similar to that, but we can use a different one, so it's a bit of the loop's a little bit different. So rather than we've got 1, 2, so chops 1, chops 2, chop 3, chop 4, and we got 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to pick another one of these just so it's different than the first half of the pattern. Right, I'm going to go with the X. Go and give it you. So that's different one at the end now. Yeah, cool. Right, and this dog, I've already put 2 chops in, but it's basically this one. And then so that's probably going to go on the one here, and then halfway through we'll swap it to the other chop. Let's have a listen to that. What else can we add in here? Right, I'm going to add in some ambient sound effects, kind of like some weather or something, some wind, whistling wind, or some rain, or something that sounds a bit spooky, as it's a spooky beat. So the way I'm going to do that is in a weird way. There's a plugin from Kia, the car manufacturer, called VST Instrument, and it looks like this. And it's basically a synth, but has sampled weather in it, which sounds weird, but you can just use it just for the Foley noise, the weather sounds, not the... You have to use it for that. So let's just go in and have a look. So you can see you've got beach, birds, geyser, thunder, which is probably what I'm going to use, thunder. So go in thunder and just turn this sampler up. Turn it all the way up. Oh no, turn it down a bit. And it's about there. And then let's just put an EQ on it. And listen to that in the mix. So we've kind of got that loop pretty good. I might add in some more variety to these kicks. Yeah, so I'm going to put in a second kick. Copy that. Paste, paste, paste. So we've got a boom, ksh, boom, boom, ksh. Okay, so I'm fairly happy with that loop so far. There's still stuff to add in, obviously, but I wanted to show you the heartbeat sample that I created right at the very beginning and how I'm going to use that along with the rest of this beat. So if I go to song view, and normally I don't come into song view until I've got at least like 3 or 4 patterns done and an intro and an outro, and it's for arranging purposes, but I've already set this up because I knew that I wanted the intro to have just the heartbeat, to just this heartbeat, and I wanted the main sample, the main beat, to have the heartbeat that was affected by the Beam plugin with so it's like a bass line, which is this. And you can see in the waveform that it starts off really bassy and it fades down here all the way to here to just the heartbeat, which is the same as the intro. And then it does the same thing again, and then we've got an outro. So if I just quickly drag in this pattern 1 down here, just duplicate it up for now, and I'll play it from before. So it'll have just the heartbeat, and then it'll play this pattern with the bass line heartbeat stuff underneath. Let's add in some more layers. I think I'm going to bring in this MIDI keyboard because the sample I used for the choir at the beginning was in a whole scale rather than a minor or a major. It's in a whole scale, and Serato Studio doesn't. It only supports minor and major, so I'm going to have to turn off playing key and play it on here instead. So let's add in a SurgeXT. Make sure that playing key is turned off, which it is. And we're going to play the beat without some of the samples, some of the stuff in it, without the rain, without the dog, just with the choir. And then we're going to play along on the MIDI keyboard and try and find something that fits with the rest of the beat. Maybe. No, that's not the right patch. cool. Right, so let's add in another synth. Let's go for a Baby Audio BA1. And I'm going to turn off play and key, turn down the output volume. Okay, let's record that in. Yes, I quite like that. That's a theremin sound called Break My Theremin. Let's put an EQ on that. Another effect on this. I'm going to use Transit 2, I think, which is fairly new to me as well. Andrew Huang's plugin had Transit 1, great stuff. Transit 2, I think it wasn't much to upgrade it, so made sense. Posh, drag that on there. I've explained this before, but basically it's 7 effect slots, loads of presets, and then this big macro knob controls all of these effects in various ways. So I'm just going to play that theremin stuff sound and then mess around with presets and this macro knob until I find something that works. I change this mode to be a sequencer. I'm going to put loop on, pendulum on, which means it'll play this all the way through once and then come back like this, but automatically. So sequencer. See here, it's moving. Turn up the volume as well. Let's quickly have a listen to that in the actual, with the heartbeat loop stuff on. Okay, so let's add in another synthesizer, and we're going to add in a Warlock by Tone 2. And that looks a little bit like this. And let's just turn it down before we start. Okay. So it might look a bit overwhelming, but as usual with me, there's tons of presets. But my favorite thing about this synthesizer is that it's got a random button. So if you click this once, it'll randomize all of these parameters and generate you a new patch to play with. Sometimes it takes a long time to get a patch that you like, but it's really good for someone like me who doesn't really know a lot about what all these knobs do. So yeah, let's have a listen to it. So I'm just going to mute off those things from before, just so we've got less sound in the mix. So random. Yeah, quite like that patch. Yeah, that's cool. Rock and roll. Yeah, let's get that recorded in. Meaty. So that guitar patch, I think it's not going to come right at the beginning because it's such a big part of the track. I'm going to fade that up later on in the beat. Let's start putting a basic mix in. So we've got number 1, pattern 1. Move that across 1. I'm going to duplicate it up, call it pattern 2. And we're going to go into that soul drop, which we only want it on the first pattern, not the second one. And clear that out. On this, we'll drag that down to there. And then we'll go 1, duplicate that. Call it 3, standard behavior. 2, duplicate that up, call it 4. Bosh, bosh. Let's have a listen to all those elements in the mix with the heartbeat. Right, so this Morse code thing, pattern 1, not going to have it on, pattern 3, not going to have it on, and then we'll probably start fading that guitar in on throughout 3, so it hits on 4. So if we go to the guitar, pattern 1, that's me riff, clear that out on 1, clear it out on 2, 3, automation, endpoint, start point. So we've got the guitar coming up through 3 and it's on 4. And then we're going to go do the intro and the outro. Let's just duplicate up that for the intro. So we should have the DAW using volume automation and fade it in. So we'll do that on the DAW. So point there, point at the beginning, fade in. So it should fade the DAW noises in, growling in that. We don't need this noise yet. I'll clear that out. Choir. Yeah, let's have the choir in, but faded in. Point at the end, tick, point at the beginning. Not all the way silent though, I think it should be heard. Yeah, I think the kick needs to be more in the mix, more of a punchy kick. It's a bit lost really. Right, so let's go to the kick. Yeah, I didn't like that metal noise. And try and swap out the kick for something else. Right, this kick sounds better. Might not be the right one just yet, but I'm going to put some compression on the whole drums. So I'm going to use this IV GI2 by Klanghelm and just dial in. Right, so I'm going to leave pattern 4 with the guitar in. I think it needs more cowbell. It needs more of a snare or a clap or something to layer up. I'll do that one. Yeah, that's cool. See how that sounds on the pattern. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to filter the choir on between patterns 2 and patterns 3 down to nothing and back up again. Automation, filter, 2, dot at the beginning, dot about, let's say, -3, and then on the 3, dot at the end, and -30. Okay, so I've got most of this done. I'm going to do where this comes here and fades out. I'm going to put like a vocal. Let's have a look what I've got in my library. Yeah, let's go for that. Okay, so it was on pattern 2, put it there. Right, you can see on that it's just in the right channel, not in both. So I've got a little plug-in for that. So MonoMaker, drag that on. I know you could do it in the channel mixer, the pattern, but it's just easy to do this. Cool. EQ. And then a delay from 6 sample. All good. I think we might want like a cymbal on the one and on the snare maybe. Let's have a listen. See what we've got in the old library. Let's loop up pattern 1. And if that's loop up where it gets to the guitar, that's where I want it to be. Let's put that on, fill in every 4. So it's the wrong sound, but I'll find the right one. That's exactly what I wanted. So don't want that crash to be all the way through. Just we'll fade it up on the 3s, fill in 4, get rid of it here, and then I think you can adjust the volume in automation for that. We'll see. Automation. Yeah, you can. Okay. So put that there. And we're going to fade it up from. Okay, so I think the beat's done. I'm just going to put on the usual automation. Go to master, go to mixer, volume, and then we're just going to go dot there, drag it down to like -10, drag this down to -10. Okay, just listen to it back, and I think we'll just get rid of the rain sounds, because they've got some weird bird sounds in there, and I think it's clipping a bit. So I'm going to take it out altogether. So I'm going to click on rain and just remove it altogether. I think it sounds better. So let's go back to the mix. Yeah, it sounds better already. No rain. Cleaner. Theremin coming through, just about. Evil laugh incoming. And this is where those cymbal rides are coming in, and the guitar should fade up as well. I think when I export this final mix down, I might put a pitch bend in at the bottom, so at the end, so it just fades to like the heart stopping. Right, thanks for joining me on this spooky adventure that we've been on tonight, the Halloween special. I hope you've enjoyed the beat. I hope you've enjoyed the process. I certainly have, and I hope that you've learned something useful. If you have, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more. This beat will be available on my Patreon for free if you want to download it, listen to it at your leisure. Otherwise, I'll see you again next week for a non-Halloween special when I'll be wearing normal clothes, not a skeleton. See you soon.